This is the only player in CS who can win rounds and have top KD without taking fights. These days, we only pay attention to star players and strong aimers. Zaivu, Dong, Kioske, Molodoi. But there is one player who stands out even among the best. A player who doesn't need to be the main star to shine brighter than most. The best movement in game. One of the most consistent lurkers ever, a player many look up to, and someone who almost never lets his team down. Meet Robin Cole, also known as Ropz. My first encounter with Ropz was in 2017. In the spring of that year, a new player completely dominated the Faceit ladders and quickly became one of the strongest players in FPL. The way he read the game and moved around the map raised many questions. One of the most popular players at the time, JW, started accusing Ropz of cheating.
Oh, fuck this Ropz retard.
Getting wrecked.
I don't know why the fuck we don't just ban him. He's never gonna show up at the LAN. I don't even want to join a team.
And he wasn't the only one. Back then, Ropz was just a teenager, not a tier 1 player, and when top professionals publicly express doubt, the community reacts instantly. On March 31, 2017, Ropz publicly announced that he was at the Faceit office in London and would play FPL from there over the weekend. He played under supervision on Faceit's own setup to prove that he had no online advantage. Later, HLTV described this moment very clearly. After playing from the Faceit office in March 2017, Ropz's name was cleared and the cheating accusations slowly disappeared. By proving that he was legit, Ropz strengthened his position in the community and truly became popular. Shortly after that, mousesports made him an offer that was impossible to refuse. Already in 2017, Ropz helped mousesports with ESG Tour and delivered strong results. Later he described this period as the best season in mousesports history at that time. From that point on, he consistently posted positive ratings in tournaments and didn't finish a single event with a negative rating. In the early 20s, Ropz was no longer just a rifle, but became the core of the team, with analysts often calling him the diamond of mousesports for his ability to create advantages, even in the hardest rounds. One of the brightest moments of his mousesports career came in 2019 at ESL Pro League Season 10. In the grand final against Fnatic, Ropz completely outplayed JW, finishing the series across 3 maps with a 1.38 rating and helping mousesports secure a dominant 3-0 victory. This was not just a win, but a clear statement. Let's start the educational part with his settings, because in this case they actually matter. Unlike most professional players, Ropz plays on Full HD resolution, which makes the game feel very different. You see more of the map, which helps a lot on many positions. And spray control and movement feel smoother and more natural. There are downsides as well, especially if you played stretched for a long time, because adaptation takes time and you may expose yourself to more angles at first. But this is not the most important part. What actually makes Ropz so consistent? Let's break it down. What truly sets Ropz apart in his playstyle, he almost never plays Faceit, instead focusing on official matches and enjoying life, which makes tournament demos the best way to study his game. And there is a lot to learn from them. By watching almost any demo, you can understand Ropz's main role. He fills the gaps in his team and plays as Lurker. When his team slows down or lacks information, Ropz steps in and tries to break through the opponent's setup. What helps him here is not only his pre-aim, but also his phenomenal reaction. Thanks to his aim, he is not afraid to play the same lurk position for half the game. but he also takes aggressive positions. For example, most players at any level tend to play closer to the wall on city side, so they have a chance to get a frag and fall back. But Ropz chooses the most aggressive position, where there is no escape, but which is unlikely to be pre-aimed. Why there is no smoke on city is a question for the MongolZ team. What you can already take from this: don't be afraid to consistently play the same positions, even 5 rounds in a row. Usually players either play from spawn every round or constantly change positions. But Ropz does the same thing repeatedly because he perfectly understands timings, nades, and the position itself. At the same time, he always plays it differently. He might walk through a smoke or stand in a corner the entire round, waiting for the right moment to hit the site. Many people think that high frag count and good KD only come from entry fragging. But as a decent entry fragger, I can tell you that's not true. This kind of controlled playstyle increases your survival time on the map and creates more opportunities to catch your opponent. One of Ropz's key strengths is his understanding of his role and the game itself. In this round, he's playing a lurk position in mid while his team goes towards A side, where Zontix completely shuts them down with a 5-7.
Now looking to disrupt his Zontix. Oh, he does more than disrupt! He destructs!
Ropz understands that his entire team is dead. He could have picked earlier, he could have tried to catch a rotation from mid to short, but the plan was that his team would take the side and stabilize. That plan failed, and Ropz played the percentages perfectly. He saved his weapon and slightly damaged the opponent's economy. Brick by brick, this is his core playstyle. Like a professional poker player, he almost never takes risks unless he has the best cards. But when it's needed, he will run through a Molotov and helps his team. To summarize that DOS demo, Ropz didn't make crazy highlights like Zaivu, but he was consistent, calculated, and extremely useful. He saved a lot of money for his team, gathered a lot of information, and when it mattered, he got the kills. Let's take a closer look at his movement and aim. Ropz is mostly known for these aspects of his game, although I personally think his strength is not only in that. Still, you know, Ropz would make a great entry fragger. His demos are genuinely interesting to watch. Just imagine seeing Ropz get 30 kills, while in the first 5 rounds he keeps dying, saving, not taking risks, and it becomes interesting where those kills actually come from. Let's start with micro moments because otherwise I don't know how to properly show you his movement. Ropz is incredible with his keyboard. A simple situation where he needs to kill the B player on car. Pay attention to how he does it. Look at the sequence of key presses and the micro strafes in regular movement. He is constantly strafing and searching for the opponent, which helps him stay alive. Once he gets information, he doesn't hold a single angle or run in a straight line. Instead, he accelerates, while slightly moving backward at the same time. In just a couple of seconds, around 10 inputs are made, and all of them are correct. For many people, this might not seem very interesting, but think about this. The game has taught us to press W. We think we have the advantage and simply run at the opponent, ignoring strafes. While Ropz does the opposite and at the same time makes it much harder for the opponent to kill him. Again, the round continues and here he moves along the wall, crouches, releases crouch and gets the kill. He's constantly in motion, no matter the situation or position. At this point, we can highlight some very important aspects of Robin's gameplay. First, you can make an impact in any role, whatever you're playing a lurker or throwing nades. Even in solo queue, don't be afraid to play a support role. Stay passive, but be ready to help your team when the moment calls for it. Do not bait. It's better to be a good lurker than shitty entry fragger. Second, move more. Don't just hold down the W key. Try to make the most of your keyboard depending on your situations and surroundings. Third, practice strafing. Almost all of Robin's skills come from pressing the right buttons at the right moment. It is almost cliché, but if you don't just shoot bots but move and shoot, it will help you in your games. Fourth, study the map. Any silent jump or solo boost is a trump card in your arsenal that will definitely come in handy sooner or later. And here is the problem. Most people can't play like Ropz, because his playstyle requires discipline. And most importantly, it requires you to accept that you won't always be the hero. After watching some of Robin's streams, it's clear that he enjoys playing other games, and overall he prioritizes relaxation, calmness, jokes, and so on. He doesn't fit the mold of a hardcore player who spends days on end playing Faceit with 25 kills, and there is a reason for that. And you, my dear viewer, and I, we all make a ton of mistakes when playing Faceit. At any skill level, even at 3k elo, your teammates and opponents will force you to make mistakes, to overpeak, and sometimes to take risks, because the team is far from perfect, and you can't win without it. But what truly striking about Ropz's gameplay is his composure and discipline. That's not something you can train for in CS. To me, Ropz is something unique in the world of shooters, where everyone is focused solely on killing their opponents. Despite having everything it takes to play as a reliable rifleman or entry player, he chose the Lurker role, and he plays it better than anyone else. That's what I wish for you too. This has been stormbhopper, and I hope to see you soon.